Let's talk about the US student visa. How do you apply for the visa and how does that go for many people? Because I know many people from developing countries, Africa, Latin America, Asia, they want to study in the United States of America. And there are so many questions people want to know. How do I get a visa? How do you go to make sure that you have the proper documents in order to apply and make sure that you get that visa? So today I want to share my experience, but also what is supposed to be done. I'm not the real expert because I'm just doing this because I went through some of these procedures and I learned these procedures, but I'm not a federal immigration officer. So this is a disclaimer. It's just my understanding, and I want to share with that with you. So my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, and welcome to the U.S. Immigration Procedures, a special on U.S. student visa. How do you get that kind of visa? So I was able to write 2 books. These are the 2 books I want to share with you. One is called The True Memoirs of the Scholarship Guy, and another one is Udhamini Ugaibuni. These 2 books are talking about scholarships, about how to go about it. This is a Swahili book, and this is the English book. So these 2, they'll be part of your guiding. You can see them, they are on Amazon. You can be able to see some of the things I've been able to write about how to go about it. So, student visa, how does that go? In order to get a US student visa, first of all, you must get admission to any US institution, higher learning in particular, as a student. So there are 2 things. There are those who are applying to US as self-financing student. The students who are going to pay tuition fees and the cost of living on their own. And there are those who are going to US with particular scholarships. And those scholarships I'm dividing again into 2 categories. There are those that are going to US institution with a scholarship just for one portion of tuition and fees, but living expenses they have to pay on their own. And there are those who are going with a full everything, cost of living is already covered, tuition and fees also covered in that one. So that is a different category. So, but overall, you must have the admission letter to that particular university. So once you apply for a school, so whether it is undergraduate studies, that means bachelor's degree or master's degree or PhD, once you apply to the Office of Admissions office. The office will admit you to go to that particular school. And depending if that admission is tied to scholarship or not. So let's start with the first category for those who are just applying as self-financing student. So you apply to school, you get admitted. But before you get that final letter, or you get the admission letter, but there are some of the documentation you have to prove that in order to get the US visa. So then the admission office with the international office within the same university, they are going to work together. By working together, they will require a documentation from you. Who is going to finance, who is going to be able to pay for your education while you are studying in that particular university. So they'll give you a form of fees structure that you are supposed to have breakdown of tuition, fees, and the estimated cost of living. So you need to show who is going to pay. You don't need to pay at all at that moment. Because I know some of the universities or some of the countries, they might have requirement you have to submit not only the bank statement, but also you have to really pay to that school. To school in order to have that. But in the US, you don't do that. You have to show that I'm capable of paying this kind of cost. So they will need you to submit the statement of financial statement, mainly the bank statement, like, okay, this is my bank statement and I have this amount of money. And sometimes people, they take their sponsor, who is maybe their father or their uncle, with the bank statement. So that is number 1. So once you submit that information, who is going to pay, whether it is you, whether it's your father, whether it's your uncle, then they have to attach the financial documentation, which we call bank statement, or sometimes it will be a bank letter. Depending on some people, they don't prefer to provide the full detail of their bank, but the bank is authorized to provide a special kind of letter and say the amount of money which is available there. So without it to do too much breakdown. So those are some of the things they have to do. So once you submit, you are given the admission letter And also you are given the form is called the I-20, immigration form number 20. The I-20 form is a form which provides with you the university, when it's open, who is paying, and then they will put there if he's your father and how much is able to do. So with the I-20, in the admission letter, you'll be able to go to the US Embassy to apply in your respective country to apply for the visa. Once you apply, you'll be getting the appointment for the visa. Once you go to the US Embassy, again, you will need to not only to go with the I-20 and that admission letter, but you have to go with the actual bank statement which you used to submit. And you need to other things. So one of the questions I've been receiving about that particular bank statement is, okay, when I was applying, maybe it was January to that university, my bank statement was having maybe 50,000 US dollar, but my interview is July. But in July, my bank statement now, if I go to the bank, my bank is having maybe 40,000, not 50,000 US dollar. Should I go to get updated the new bank statement? No, you don't need to do that, because the US Embassy is not going to open your bank account to see. In order for someone to see the status or amount which is in your bank statement, that is a personal information. They have to go through certain process, and they cannot just provide that to the US Embassy. But because the official documentation which has been used to application is having proof this was the original, so you don't need to send the new bank statement. So that is number one. So whether the money has increased or has been reduced, you have to continue to use the same bank statement you have been using. So you're going to put it in uniformity, unless otherwise you are completely going to change the sponsor. That will be something different story. So that is number one. In order to go there, you have to do the bank statement along with I-20, along with the admission letter and all other something like that. But then when it comes to people who are applying for the full scholarship, so if you are admitted with a full scholarship, like what I did when I was going to the University of San Diego in California, I got 2 scholarships. One scholarship was Joan B. Kroc, which was covering all tuition and fees, which was 36,000 US dollar, covering that. And then I got Rotary Ambassadorial scholarships from Rotary International, was 24,000. That was covering living expenses. So I was having 60,000 scholarship. So I had 2 letters. So I took those letters and I submitted to the admission office to get the I-20. So my I-20 was reading, if you have a scholarship, it will say you have been admitted. Then cost of tuition and fees was 36,000 covered by, who is going to pay that one was Joan B. Kroc scholarship. So it's the scholarship from the university. Then who's going to cover the rest of the cost of living? So I didn't need to provide the bank statement, but the scholarship letter from the Rotary that they are committing to be paying my cost of living, 24,000, it was there. So after showing those 2 letters, I was given I-20. So when you go to the US Embassy, I don't need to have any other documentation to prove my bank statement. My admission letter, along with the scholarship letter, those will be covering, which have been already included in my I-20. You submit all of those together, then you are automatically going to get the visa. So if you are getting full scholarship, just you submit the scholarship letter and the I-20 will be already covering that. But if you get maybe partial, that means cost of tuition and fees is already covered by the university, but living expenses, maybe you need to show 10,000. How does that work? So you'll be having 2 items. One, you will submit the scholarship letter to the Office of Admission or International Office so that they can put that in who will be paying for tuition fees. And then the leftover, the amount you're supposed to be left, then they will require your bank statement. Who will be going to be covering the rest of the money? If the cost of living will be covering by yourself. But you cannot say, I will be coming to US, then I'll be washing dishes, or I'll be doing work in the library, then I'll cover on my own. No, you have to show the actual bank statement to cover the remaining amount of money. So that is something else. So if you show that one, then you will be featured in I-20, then you can go to the US Embassy and do that. But it doesn't matter whether you are paying for yourself or for your scholarships. You have still to go to the US Embassy for the interview. And there is no guarantee of getting the visa. It doesn't matter whether you have got a full scholarship. It doesn't matter whether you are going to pay for yourself. So there is no a guarantee of getting the US visa. It depends on how you are going to answer the questions. It depends on what documentation you're going to submit. Because no matter how document you have, if they ask you a question, okay, so you are going to America to go to study at this university. Are you planning to come back? And say, oh, no, I'm not coming back. I'm going to, oh, it's my dream to go to stay in LA. Obviously, they're going to give you the visa despite how much documentation you are submitting. So there are so many other things that they are going behind the scene to determine whether you're supposed to be given the visa or not to be given the visa. So that you have to know that. But if you are going to pay for yourself, your questions will be a little bit more about finances to find out if you are really going to study and get that money, or this is just a journey to go through United States of America and then disappear, compared to if you have scholarships. I say it doesn't matter, you still be scrutinized, but someone with a scholarship is a little bit better, in a better situation, because I got a scholarship. Because let me give you an example. You are saying I'm going to study bachelor of degree in sociology in maybe University of Las Vegas. How much is the tuition and the fees? For international students, maybe per year is 15,000 US dollar. Cost of living, if you add the 10,000 per year, it is going to be 25,000 per year. And they'll ask, are you really going to study and paying 25,000 in University of Las Vegas versus paying 1,000 US dollar at University of Dar es Salaam, or Social Work, Institute of Social Work, or University of Dodoma, or University of Yoruba, or University of Nairobi? They are going to ask those kind of questions. Why can't you study in your own country where the tuition and fees are less than 1,000 and you are able to pay 25,000 at a certain institute in the US? So you have to explain. But it will be easy explanation if you say, oh, I got a scholarship, they are paying for me. It is easier in that way. So you see, if you have a scholarship, your answers about finance and the reasoning behind will be able to be easy. Oh, easier. Oh, I got scholarships. So first of all, they will congratulate you because they know it is a very tough, competitive application process, scrutinization until you get a full scholarship. So that is another thing like you have to consider. Why are you going to that university? So there are certain questions, even if someone is going to help you to apply, is in the US, or is just like, just like you go to the agent, and the agent, certain agencies helping you to apply, you must show that you are the one also did a study to that particular university. Okay, I want to study this university to find out why I'm applying to University A, not University B, or this city, or this course. You need to have those kind of background because they ask why University of Las Vegas. Not because there are so many parties in Las Vegas. You need to provide a little bit concrete reason why that particular university. Why sociology, not engineering. You need to have all those kind of explanation. But as I said, if you have a scholarship, your answer will be a little bit different because they know for sure finances are already covered and someone has been trusting you. But no matter what, in the end, you have to show why you'll be coming to your home country and what will bring you back to your home country. They have to see the ties to your country. They want to see your future program. In the end, how are you going to help your own country? So they might be asking in various ways. They might not ask a direct question. Okay, so you are going to America for bachelor or master's or PhD. Are you planning to come back? They're not going to ask that kind of question. That will be very easy. They'll ask you a question. Okay, so you are going to America. If you win a lottery, maybe 1 million US dollar, are you going to build a house there and just marry there and stay there? Oh, I'm single, I'm going to buy my own house. So they know what is your intention. So there will be questions which you need to know how to go about it, especially for students. Find a way, first of all, to research university. Find a way to really apply by yourself. That means you own the process. If you don't own the process, even the interview, you will not be able to do that. But overall, make sure you are so much honest, because if you are lying, those people are so expert because they've been doing that one for living for years. They have different ways to know that you are lying. So just make sure that you go through this process and be honest as you are. So even if you don't get it, you can be able to reapply. There is no appeal. You just reapply to be able to do that. So that is another way to go about it. But overall, I will try every time to ask people not to go to apply, to go to pay for your own fees, school tuition and fees as a self-financing student. Try your best to apply for scholarships, because life in the US is very difficult, especially for students. You might come, oh, I'm thinking about going to work. As an international student, there are requirements. Don't just jump to US, you think that you can just be free as a molecule, do whatever you want. No, because once you are in the US, there are immigration regulations as international student you have to follow. If you have F1, you are given social security card. It is written, work with, in order to get the work, it is with the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security authorization. You must get authorization to be working. That means with F1 visa, which is a student visa, you are supposed to be able to work on campus 20 hours per week. Not more than that. If you are caught doing more than 20 hours per week, you can be suspended and be deported back to your home country. You are not supposed to work off campus. It should be working off campus is only if the school is closed. Then you can work, like summer vacation, you can be able to work even off campus. So there are certain requirements, regulations. So don't say I'm going to pay for my own and assume that you are going to collect the money in the US. No, you are not going to collect because you will not be allowed to work off campus. You will be having limited number of hours, even if it will be on campus. And most of the jobs will be 8 to maximum 10, very maximum, a lot will be $11, $12 per hour. They're just normal jobs to work at the department, like secretary, at the department, or you can work in the library, you can work at the coffee shop within the school, you can work at the cafeteria, you can work at maybe, so there are so many things you can be working within a campus to be able to get that kind of money, but that is whatever. So it's a very small amount of money. If you take 20 hours times 8 times 4 weeks, how much are you going to work? How much are you going to get? You cannot be able to pay tuition and fees and be able to survive in your own. And you'll be able to be very, very difficult. But if you get a full scholarship and you go to work, that means you can be able to study very hard, you can be able to get good grades, you can be not be in trouble. So all other things they have to do. So in order to do that, you have to make sure that you get through scholarship. That's why every single day I'm insisting people to apply for scholarships. And these books, again, True Memoirs of the Scholarship Guy is explaining a lot, and with Aminu Gaibuni for Swahili, people speaking Swahili, they are talking about scholarships. I'm insisting scholarship because your life will be very, very much easy than going to get a student visa through self-financing, paying for yourself. There is a lot of scrutinization, there are a lot of process to prove that you have the money and your intention is not to go just in the US and disappear. So make sure that you do that. And speaking of scholarship, I have other videos I've already uploaded in my channel that most of the scholarships are for graduate school, master's and PhD compared to undergraduate or bachelor's degree. So if you are looking for scholarship for bachelor's degree, please try to study bachelor's degree in your home country, get good grades and go there. But you can get a scholarship, but it's very, very rare. A few universities or colleges, they have bachelor's degree scholarships, full scholarship for international students, but the majority is master's and PhD. So that is how it works. So overall, you have to make sure that you apply, whether it's self-financing, whether it's whatever, follow the proper procedures and make sure that you are honest with the process, especially at the visa interview. If you mess up, you know they were lying and you come with the fake document, people want to come with the fake document, they are going to ban you coming to America at least for the next 10 years. So don't go and be in trouble with that kind of process. So I'm sure you are enjoying that kind of video and a breakdown on how to go about it to get the USC student visa. That is I think people might have a few questions, follow-up questions. If you have follow-up questions, don't hesitate. Put your comment below, put your question below, and I'll be able to make sure that I answer your questions. And please share this video to your friends and colleagues to be able also to benefit from this kind of information. So thank you so much again. This is Ernest Makulilo, and goodbye.